So now we're going to learn a little bit about depression. This is the DSM-4. There's actually a DSM-5 out now, but when I was in college, of course, we've had this for years and years and years. So we're going to look at depression. Depression is the same in either of the DSM, so it's hasn't changed. Major depression, we have 9 symptoms right here, and you need to have 5 or more of them to be considered depressed. If that you have them in a 2-week period, and you either depressed or you have lost interest in pleasure in life for 2 weeks with 5 of these symptoms, you're considered clinically depressed. It's got a lot of other, it's got a lot of other things in here. It's a very dry, complicated read to go through all of this. So let's put that away and learn about depression in a little bit more interesting way, let's say. So here's my self-care junk journal where I use it to teach about depression and self-care. And we're just going to go through one section right now. This is called the body, mind, spirit section. So the mind, the body, and the spirit. Depression affects all 3. Let's take a look at that. So what I did from the DSM, I took all those 9 symptoms that we just looked at, okay? And I made a little piece of paper for each one, and we're going to sort them and learn about depression. So low self-esteem, feeling worthless or guilty. Do you think that goes in the mind, the body, or the emotions category? I'm going to go ahead and put it in emotions because it's feeling guilty is the spirit. It's called spirit, but it's for emotions, your heart, okay? The body is anything in the body, and then the mind is more of the thinking. Okay, so feeling hopeless, that's definitely a feeling in the spirit, feeling hopeless. That's another symptom of depression. Low energy, either feeling really fatigued or kind of restless. And that's talking about the body, right? So let's stick that in the body. Feeling sad or empty is a symptom of depression. I'm going to go ahead and put that with the feelings. Feeling fatigue or loss of energy, well, that's in the body. Feeling anhedonia, which is loss of interest or pleasure in your usual things. I'm going to stick that in the mind, I think, right now, my mental. If I just don't feel interest in things, my mind is not really working right. Feeling restless or really slowed down, like you just notice you do everything a little slower. That's physical, right? So let's put that in the body. Sleep, either hypersomnia or insomnia, sleeping too much or too little, or having problems getting or staying asleep, that's physical, so let's put that with the body. Appetite is affected, either weight gain or weight loss without trying, so that's again physical. A lot of physical symptoms in depression. Indecisive, can't concentrate. Well, that sounds very mental, doesn't it? So let's put that in the mind for mental. Thinking about suicide or death without making a plan or attempt, although that's a symptom too. But right now we're just looking at, of course, suicide thinking and even attempts are a symptom of depression. But it can also be just, I wish I was never alive, I wish I was never born, or I can't wait for this life to be over. Even if you're not thinking actively of literally killing yourself, this is called passive suicide ideation, where you're just not really engaged in being alive, and you're just kind of wishing you weren't here anymore. And those are thoughts. So we're going to put that in the mental, in the mind category. And then feeling hopeless, you know, like there's no future, this is never going to change. We're going to, did we get that in there twice? We sure did. We don't need the double hopelessness. We've got enough. All right, so emotionally, sad, empty, low self-esteem, worthless, and guilt, and hopeless. Then we have in the body symptoms, we've got low energy, fatigue, restless, poor sleep, and poor appetite. So a lot of physical symptoms of depression. And then in the mind, we've got the passive suicide ideation, indecisive, can't think, can't concentrate, and loss of interest and pleasure. So depression is more than just feeling sad or crying a lot. Depression affects the mind and the body and the spirit or emotions. So the next video, we're going to go over the 9 human needs, because most of depression is not getting our needs met. So it's, important to see the symptoms of depression, of which there happen to be 9, and then we also need to look at the 9 human needs, so that there's something we can take a look at, like where our needs are not getting met and what we need to do to get them met so we can help ourselves out of our depression. Daily self-love. It all comes down to that. All right, see you on the next video.